Hello and welcome to the special edition of Mustang Digest, Osan Year in Review. For the next 55 minutes or so, you'll see how Osan has changed over the past 12 months. You'll see old friends that have moved on to new challenges and new friends that have since joined the Osan team. Keep in mind a lot has changed over the last year. To ensure our script matches our video, this program uses the facts of each story as they were originally written. For example, Brigadier General Robert Fogelsong, 51st Fighter Wing Commander, was a colonel the first few months of '94, and we'll reference him as such. No disrespect is intended. With that quick disclaimer out of the way, sit back and relax and watch how Osan Air Base has changed for the better.
Osan started the new year preparing for the 51st Fighter Wing's operational readiness inspection, and the Cobra flight was no exception. During contingencies, they're responsible for defending the base perimeter and supporting the fire team after they're deployed. Basically, they ward off perimeter attacks by counterattacking enemy forces trying to infiltrate sensitive areas. The use of camouflage is important in these situations to make it more difficult for enemy aircraft to spot buildings and such from the air.
The purpose is for exercises to demonstrate the capability. For actual war, what you're trying to do is essentially try to hide that facility. Make it, you're not going to make it disappear. It's not a Klingon cloaking device, but the primary purpose is to make target acquisition for an aircrew difficult.
The Stinger missile is a combat-tested weapon system. It's proved itself effective time and time again in neutralizing high-speed, low-flying attack aircraft. The 51st Security Police Squadron has the special responsibility for handling these weapons. Basically, command and control is executed by radar. A two-person team scans the skies looking for enemy targets. Once the word is given, the target is destroyed. Elsewhere during January, ground was broken for the new high school. Over $10 million is included in the construction budget. Luckily, the Korean government is funding the project. The high school should be ready for the 1995-96 school year. Once completed, it'll save students the hassle of traveling back and forth to Seoul American High School each day. Two facilities celebrated grand openings in January. The jet engine repair facility opened its doors with a ribbon cutting, highlighting building features that make engine maintenance much easier. The Arts and Crafts Center also held a grand opening to inform people about its new custom frame and print shop. Construction took over 14 months and had support from an enormous base volunteer effort. Volunteers basically did everything except install the carpeting and drop ceiling. Osan also sponsored an Amnesty Day in January. During exercises, blank ammunition is used and isn't always turned in. A large box was placed in the middle of the football field to give people the opportunity to turn these items in.
We're looking for small arms blanks, ammunition that was not fired. We're looking for ground burst simulators, that type of item, smoke grenades, the items that were issued out for the different scenarios.
The more items that get turned in, the less chance of people getting hurt. January also saw the Stars and Stripes bookstore move from the Burger Bar complex to the post office area. The move gave the bookstore much more needed space. AFES, who funded the move, also benefited by receiving an extra 5,000 square feet of shopping space. The 51st Fighter Wing congratulated the best of the best during their annual awards program last January. Plaques were given to some 27 Osan members in 5 different categories. Staff Sergeant William Henshelwood from the 51st Communications Squadron went on to become one of the 12 outstanding airmen in the Air Force. About 80 information managers from all over the Republic gathered for a forum to discuss recent changes within their career field. They also talked about how they could best prepare for Inspector General team visits. The U.S. Embassy also hosted a briefing at the Challenger Club for those people concerned with immigration and citizenship problems. A few of the features AFKN highlighted during January included a 2-part series on the Barriers Maintenance Team. They're responsible for maintaining fail-safe systems designed to stop damaged aircraft during landings. Besides the primary systems that protect Osan's main runway, they also set up and train on their mobility arresting systems.
We can mount it on 4 different surfaces. We got a soil installation, asphalt over soil, asphalt over concrete, and a concrete installation.
The 51st Supply Squadron's Fuel Management Branch was also highlighted during the first month of 1994. We found out it takes a considerable amount of planning to inventory, order, receive, and disperse literally millions of gallons of flammable liquid.
Okay, average receipt is approximately what we call 30 mic. That stands for mic barrels. 1 mic barrel is 42,000 gallons. Convert it all out, 1,260,000 gallons.
We highlighted one of Osan's good people in January as well. Master Sergeant Murray Cockle of the 51st Operations Support Squadron enjoys ham radio and spends most of his free time talking with people around the world. His hobby benefits Osan, too, through his involvement in the base Mars program. In family matters, the base decided to reevaluate the issue of family member curfews to help combat vandalism and loitering.
So I don't think it's unique here. It's certainly, they have curfews at virtually all the bases I've ever been on, and many of the cities that I've lived in the United States that weren't associated with bases at all.
And so January came and went. Osan started February wondering how we did in the just completed operational readiness inspection. During the outbrief at the base theater, inspectors had nothing but praise for the vast majority of the base. Later, General Jenkins, the former 51st Wing commander, threw a party at the Challenger Club and invited everyone on base to a post-ORI party. Osan then said goodbye to General Robert Jenkins and hello to Colonel Robert Fogelsong as leadership of the 51st Fighter Wing changed hands. General Jenkins didn't move too far away, though, moving his office across the street to 7th Air Force. Air bosses from all over the Pacific convened at Osan for a high-level conference and exchange of ideas. The focus of the conference was air combat strategies concerning the Korean Peninsula.
I think the people are leaving here today with a much better appreciation of how we're going to fight the air power war here in Korea.
Even flag officers have to unwind from time to time, and AFKN had the chance to watch how they do it. On the first night of the conference, 13 flag officers took part in a conventional game of crud at the officers' open mess, a billiard game played to perfection by some longtime experts. Also in February, 7th Air Force took time out to honor its best in an award ceremony presided over by Lieutenant General Howell Estes, 7th Air Force commander. Although the awards were for people winning in 1993, it inspired the class of '94 to new heights. The rank of Chief Master Sergeant is not easily attained, but 7 Osan service members pinned the top stripe on last February during their annual Chief's Induction ceremony at the Challenger Club. Volunteers are a mainstay throughout the year, but Osan took time out last February to recognize those that helped make the base so successful during the previous 12 months. Over 250 people from dozens of units were given certificates of appreciation for all their hard work in support of the Wing's mission. Unit tax representatives received valuable first-hand information from their IRS about the new tax laws and procedures concerning the military. The tax assistance seminar helped train the trainers so the masses could file a trouble-free tax return. Both sides of the Osan Airspace Management Program were profiled during February. We found out how the Radar Approach Control Team keeps a watchful eye on the 75-mile perimeter surrounding Osan Air Base. Those aircraft planning to land here are then guided to the ground by the folks in the tower.
We run about 180,000 annual total aircraft operations. We're the busiest facility in PACAF. We're rated the 5th busiest, and that's Air Force facility, 5th busiest Air Force facility in the world.
The way we looked at gate guards changed during the month as our SPs transformed themselves into elite guards, sporting sharp uniforms, smiles, and new accoutrements. Mail is important to people overseas, and in 1993, no one did mail better than the Osan Post Office. They won the title Best in the Air Force because of all the special programs they offered base residents throughout the previous year. The Pacific Air Force's Enlisted Assignments Team made its yearly visit to Osan, helping answer questions regarding future duty assignments and how to get the one you want. The Office of Special Investigations encouraged people to turn in any North Korean propaganda leaflets they found. The leaflets, usually delivered by balloon, could be found all over the base during the year. Korean law requires these leaflets be turned in so they can't serve their intended purpose. Kids from all over the Republic got together at the Osan Youth Center for a big double elimination basketball tournament. Competition was good, and some teams even brought their own cheerleaders. February is Black History Month, and Osan celebrated last year with numerous events, including a top-draw fashion show, a national prayer luncheon, and a banquet spotlighting guest speakers and fellowship. Osan had a movie star on base, but few people knew it. Major Harrison from the U.S. Army Contracting Office had a role in the epic movie Gettysburg and saw himself on the big screen for the first time at Osan's base theater. Cub Scouts hold their annual blue and gold dinner every February, and the Scouts on Osan were no exception. It's how the base closed out the second month of 1994. March was a hectic month for the Osan community. For instance, Apache helicopters arrived by a cargo aircraft to support the Army's flying mission. Army maintenance folks worked in Osan's hangars for a while to put the birds together, then flew them to their new home in the Republic. One of Osan's birds also had a problem on landing last March. The gear on one of our F-16s collapsed as the jet touched down on the runway. Emergency response crews responded quickly, and the pilot climbed out of the cockpit unhurt. The 51st Services Squadron won several Curtis LeMay Awards in March. The Library, Resource Management Flight, and Youth Center competed against Kadena, Okinawa, and other PACAF bases for the annual award. The former Services Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Steve Wackholtz, and the Mustang Club's manager, Mr. Roger Tanabe, also garnished individual awards.
When people come up to management or to an employee and say, hey, this is a pretty good club, I think it reflects on all the workers and the management.
The 51st Fighter Wing held a luncheon to honor its quarterly award winners. It was a little out of control for a while, as squadrons competed for boisterism awards. Members of the 51st Civil Engineering Squadron put the finishing touches on one of their large-scale construction projects in March, namely the installation of kitchens into enlisted dormitories. The quality of life improvement funded by Pacific Air Forces and the 51st Fighter Wing added a touch of home for Osan's unaccompanied.
I think people were really happy with the project. It gives them a chance to come down here and cook themselves a good meal.
Another wing initiative during the month had the civil engineering folks removing excess signs on the base. The sign reduction program was designed to reduce clutter and enhance base appearance, as well as eliminate sign redundancies. The wing's dorm inspection competition was held last March as well, a program designed to instill pride in those living there.
One is squadron commander and first sergeant involvement with the dormitories, active dormitory councils, self-help initiatives that are ongoing in the dormitory, what they have planned, what they have projected.
7th Air Force sponsored a first-ever conference for senior enlisted advisors Air Force-wide. They gathered to discuss concerns they all, as leaders, share on a day-to-day basis. AFKN braved the 4 to 6 hour mountainous drive to gather news from the 51st Electronic Warfare Training Squadron at Pilsung Range, quite possibly the most remote Air Force site on the peninsula. We highlighted their lifestyle, hospital, and, of course, mission.
We try to make the target area itself as realistic looking as possible, and then in combination with the threat emitters and the radars, we try to make the whole scenario simulate what pilots would go against in a real-world situation.
In order to ensure Osan's Defender pool would be fully operational by opening day, it received a major facelift. Osan's Cub Scouts gathered together to participate in the annual tradition of Pinewood Derby racing. Although it's not the Indianapolis 500, you wouldn't know it by the enthusiasm and support of onlookers. March was a great month for people who decided to avoid huge phone bills. AT&T offered free 3-minute calls to the States to any military member who showed up. Their successful campaign gave people a chance to reach out and touch someone. Musical talents were also a key focus in March. For instance, Mustang Country made its debut. It's a band composed of military members, one of which is none other than 51st Fighter Wing Commander Colonel Robert Fogelsong. People who don't necessarily play real guitars, but did a great job pretending, showed up at the Mustang Club for an air guitar competition. The winner received a real electric guitar. The Aero Club held a seminar that provided valuable information to those people needing it. Their safety seminar was held for people who have an amateur pilot's license or those that intend to get one. The seminar demonstrated the commitment all pilots have for safety. Took a closer look at the aerospace ground equipment flight as well. Their mission involves supporting other units. They're responsible for providing everything from platforms to perform scheduled aircraft maintenance to portable heaters for aircraft shelters. The job is different every day. When we return, we'll delve into the warmer months and all that it brings to Osan.
It's the Snack Man. Hey, that crazy, nutty AFI Snack Man.
That's right, it's Korea's Meals on Wheels.
The AFI's Traveling Quick Snack Man.
Have some chips.
Buy a soda.
A delicious piping hot cheeseburger.
Or get a newspaper.
You can find all this and more with your AFI's Quick Snack Man.
Coming soon to a parking lot near you.